Hey guys, Total Control 871. Good morning. I had a rough bout of PTSD last night. I still haven't been to sleep since last night's video. What I would like for you guys to understand is that it's more than just about one deleted video. The situation, it's much larger. Much larger than what you may be understanding. Without sounding like I'm patting myself on the back, and also without advancing a particular political agenda of my own, that video encompassed a number of things. Frankly, I didn't really understand it or realize it until I watched it in review several times. We see where I spoke about the actuality of verbal bullying versus physical bullying. It's true, if you have a log off button, then log off. Silicon Valley, the new millennial generation, has labored long and hard to infringe upon First Amendment rights. You see, so many of these new millennial people, they constantly say that they're not trying to take our rights away, but we're beginning to see more and more that the liberal elite, the elite left, is turning out to be a much greater threat than what many originally thought. We listen to many of them say they don't want to take away guns or what have you, but we're also seeing that they infringe upon the First Amendment as well. And we're also seeing that the liberal elites, they corner the market quite heavily in Silicon Valley. So with them having such a great deal of power, over communication, how much longer are they going to be able to feign this innocence? It's just, hey, it's a private platform. It's question. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Mark Zuckerberg, he might still be over in the UK. I don't know if he's back in the States yet or not, but Parliament just grilled him, and this, of course, was after he was grilled on Capitol Hill here in the States. And there was one particular question, or issue, should I say, that he was grilled on. I don't follow them. I guess there's a lot of people I'm talking about that I don't follow. They are black, right-wing conservatives. I believe their YouTube handle is Diamond and Silk, something to the effect. I've never watched a single one of their videos, so I really couldn't tell you. But the point is that they had been censored from Facebook. Zuckerberg was questioned about this quite heavily, mostly from your conservatives, and well, I couldn't help but notice, not once did he say then, it's my platform, it's a private business, we can do with it whatever we want, we can refuse service from whomever we want. You see, he didn't pull that shit out of his ass then. because they understand that what we're talking about, Silicon Valley, Facebook, YouTube, what is it, LinkedIn, and all this other shit, okay? All of this stuff, Twitter, all of it, even a bunch of stuff that I don't even use. It has a much deeper impact. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Facebook, it's teetering on the edge of becoming valid identification, you know. Law enforcement, it's the first thing that they reach for. Search their social media footprint. It's like it's become identification. Zuckerberg, who, if I'm not mistaken, in the 2012 election, I believe we had stop and frisk, or to be more specific, stop and frisk for identification. Latinos being stopped and frisked, questioned about their legal status. Zuckerberg weighed in quite heavily, of course, on the liberal side of the matter, that these Latinos should not be stopped, and a lot of Fourth Amendment talk. And I'm not disagreeing. I believe it's completely right. Excuse me. They shouldn't be stopped. People should not be randomly stopped on the street and demanded to hand over their papers. There's something fundamentally wrong about that. However, Zuckerberg does it quite frequently. Or his algorithm, or his bots, or his staff, or whatever it is. Send us photos of your valid state identification to prove this is really you opening this account. You have to use your real name, no pseudonyms. Wow, that's a hell of a lot of demand. I mean, Zuckerberg acts like he fucking invented the internet. I mean, hello, there were chat rooms, you know, long before your ass ever came along. Aliases are a part of internet. It's a part of the culture. Who the hell do you think you are to come along and just simply rewrite everything? I'm making this video today because I just got finished reading an article. I'm definitely going to link it down below. This article speaks heavily and hauntingly to a series that I have been making on this channel, the Civil Right Parasite series. And I suppose this video will be the latest addition to that series. Almost 60 years it took for these students, Alabama State University students. They partook in a lunch counter protest, protesting inequality. It cost them their education. Most of them were expelled from school. And I can tell you right now, 60 years ago, black, oh yeah, you were there on academic scholarship. Your parents didn't have money for tuition, which means there was no other school for you to go to. Even if you'd been accepted at others on scholarship, first question out of their mouth is going to be, what happened? You turned us down, and here it is, what, 1 year, 2 years later, however long they'd been at the school, suddenly you want to transfer? Well, what's going on? Oh, we're going to need your transcripts. You're a troublemaker, huh? Troublemaker. I suppose that's putting it pretty mildly. I think they might have some very different words that they would call you 60 years ago. uppity, know-it-all nigger. You don't know your place. Well, here we are, almost 60 years later. Whoever's still alive, they gotta be like 80 years old. 81, 82, 83. Exonerating their arrest records. Expunging it. Right. Like they're gonna do something. At the age of 80. They sacrificed so much. I don't think you do understand. What makes you think that they had the weight, the full weight of their family behind them during this protest? I don't have to wonder. I've heard members of my own family tell me that I'm crazy. Boy, get your ass onto the sidewalk. As I fight for cyclists' rights to the road. Boy, you just should have left. You had them call the police. As I fight in 2018 for homeless rights, we are not garbage. We are not things that you can just trample on. You know, so often I say that I don't have a criminal record. Well, maybe it's time to change that. These students acquired a criminal record, fighting for people like me and you. Somebody's got to get their hands dirty. They fought. They sacrificed. They gave up a college education. 60 years ago, a chance at middle-class bliss, or as close to bliss as people could live being black 60 years ago. And yet today, so many people of color who aren't even Americans, they feast at the table of civil rights. You labored for nothing, yet you feast. You gorge yourself on the efforts of others. Others who have sacrificed. Seems like we always turn to these black and white file footage of the civil rights movement. We look back at it. We lament on it. The battle's won. The smoke has cleared from the battlefield. The victor's already been declared. And so many of us younger people, it's so easy, so very easy for us to side on the right side of history. You know, I spoke once about my grandmother, Lord rest her soul, how she would get emotional when watching the Jesus Christ stories during the holidays, Christmas, Easter, what have you. Years later, many, many years later, you know, I couldn't help but wonder, what makes you think you would be so willing to stand with Christ? You see, so many passed judgment on Peter, who denied him 3 times before the cock would crow. Or even Judas, who betrayed him for his precious money. Precious money. So easy for us here 2,000 years later to cast judgment on them. Oh, it wouldn't have been me. It's so obvious. Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior. Stand with him. Well, I'm no Jesus Christ, that's for sure. And I am by no means perfect. No means perfect. I make my mistakes. I screw up. And I've got my regrets like anybody else. But I refuse to be a civil right parasite. I refuse to coast on the efforts of others. And if it means I have to get my hands dirty and cash in my immaculate, non-criminal record, then so be it. If I have to march into that Maze Landing McDonald's, if I have to demand to be served as a human being, if I have to be hauled away, if they have to call the dogs, then that's what they'll do. Because I'm tired of being garbage. I'm tired of being looked down on. I worked hard my entire life. I didn't get by on the efforts of others. Not when I was working. And I certainly won't do it while I'm an activist. Total Control, 871.